Hey, howdy, hey, film buffs. Wolfman47 here. Yep, it's another hot day, so the top is off again. um, so, as all film buffs know, there are a lot of films that have been released all over the years that some are really good, some are not so good, some are talked about for some reason. Some of the best films are being talked about. Some of the worst films are being talked about for some reason. And then there's just loads that are forgotten about altogether. So I thought today to do not a top 10 per se, but like 10 films that I feel deserve a sequel, or at least another film later down the line. Some of the films I'm going to mention have had sequels or later entries in some capacity, but not many people know them all that well or something. But definitely these films do deserve to have some kind of continuation, at least in my opinion. You might have your own opinions, leave them in the comments below, and just share me the ones you want. Okay, here we go. So first up, First up is Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So this film came out in the mid noughties and stars Martin McFly himself, Michael J. Fox. It's an animated Disney film, part of Disney's animation canon, and it was actually one of the most ambitious projects Disney had been working on. It's one of their few animated films that isn't a musical, and in fact, it was actually the first time they actually decided not to even think about considering it to be a musical. They just went straight up non-musical, just wanted to give us a mature, great film. And it was a good film. Visual effects were fantastic, the story was good, the characters were amazing and memorable, each with their own personalities and so forth. And there was a lot of plans for there to be more films and even attractions in Disneyland World, whatever, and so forth. But it was just didn't do well at the box office. And a lot of those things have either been scrapped or had some kind of revival, but not the sort of revival we were expecting. And Atlantis is a big deal because it's about the lost city that's submerged into water or something, and yeah, it's also one of the few times where it had a sort of Disney princess character called Kida, but they never decided to give her the title of Disney princess because of how the film just didn't do too well. Very ambitious on Disney's part and a great and overall good film, but we would like to see a continuation of some kind. So yeah. Right, next film is Alita Battle Angel. So this was the last film to use the 20th Century, the studio formerly known as 20th Century Fox, as in use that name instead of the name they use now, 20th Century Studios. And although some people may feel a bit creeped out by the big eyes that the main character has, people did actually just enjoyed it, and it was a great sci-fi experience set in a sort of dystopian future and all sorts, and lovely stuff. But at the end, it was always destined to have some kind of continuation, but we never got it. I don't, unlike Atlantis, where I do actually know what happened there. I'm not entirely sure if Alita Battle Angel is getting a sequel or some kind of continuation, but it'd be good to see more of that in some way. Maybe they'll improve on the CGI as well, because yes, I know the big eyes of the main character can be a little bit creepy. I think they were just trying to bring anime into like the live action world, but clearly just could not do it too well. At least it's better than some anime live action stuff out there. Right, moving on. Next is Tron Legacy. So there's been two Tron films actually. This isn't the first one. So there was obviously the original Tron, and then starring Jeff Bridges, and then this new one also starring Jeff Bridges and a completely new cast. And it was originally planned to have more films, but it never did. But we did get some kind of continuation in the form of a cartoon series, which I've heard is really good. Some video games as well, and just renewed interest in the franchise altogether. But since those days, we've just had nothing with Tron. Now, Tron Legacy itself is not the greatest of films. The only reason why I decided to talk about it in this video is because I like the visual style of it, and I like the score, because pretty much the majority of the score is done by the now unfortunately retired Daft Punk, who are a legendary DJ duo known for creating some amazing songs around the world, Technologic and many, many others, Da Funk and so forth. And it'll just be great to see another Tron, to be honest, whether that be in an animated form or a live action form. It'll just be good to see that world again, but maybe just made a little bit better than Legacy, because Legacy was fine, just could have been better. So yeah. Rise of the Guardians is another one. So this was a DreamWorks animation film. I believe this was the last one to be distributed by Paramount, but I could be wrong there. Now this was very underappreciated, and it was effectively DreamWorks trying to do the Avengers, but sort of the Avengers being holiday characters like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Sandman, the Tooth Fairy, and Jack Frost. And it was all right for what it was. It was good. Very memorable. Debatable about where it should, what holiday it's specifically focusing on, because it's focused on all sorts of different holidays there. Definitely kind of sort of a Christmas film, but not completely a Christmas film in that sense. And it's based on a series of books from what I recall, and it was good fun. The characters are all memorable, each having their own personalities. It's not like the typical, and Santa's not like the typical jolly old Santa. He's actually Russian. The Easter Bunny is Australian, and with a boomerang and all sorts. It was quite fun. It's quite a fun film with some sort of life lessons in there, like learning that not all things are bad if you just believe that things could be better. So yeah, that's Rise of the Guardians. Hoping that gets a continuation in some capacity, because it's great that DreamWorks do continue some of their franchises. But it would be good if they sort of also continued some franchises that could maybe have more to do. So yeah, there's that one. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I can't remember when this film came out. I know it was in the noughties sometime, and it was based on a BBC radio play, and they ended up doing a feature film with Disney, although it wasn't Disney's name on it. It was one of their production companies. Anyway, and it was pretty good. It was very interesting, very complex, had an amazing amazing cast, including Martin Freeman, and the late Alan Rickman, and more. And because sci-fi franchises are what they are, but the one thing that they always do well in, or try and do well in, is world building. And with it being like a massive, while Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy may not be as big as, say, Star Wars or Star Trek, a continuation could see them travel to other planets and all that stuff. I mean, the whole film was self-contained. It probably would have been okay without a sequel or anything, but it's one of those things where you got all sorts of ideas that you could roll with it, and that's that one. So this one is kind of me cheating a bit, but I felt to include it in this list I've got, and that's The Princess Bride. Now, the film may not be familiar to a lot of you, but you will have heard of some of the lines, because there's a lot of great lines, like, "I'm waiting, inconceivable. Hello, my name's Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepared to die. And marriage is what brings us here together today. As you wish." And so many others I could do, but I'm not going to go into them too much. I don't know how a continuation could work with that one. I know some people do have, and it's gained a cult following. It has people have got fond memories of it, but for that to continue, I think it would be probably best if they, I don't know, had a prequel or something. Sequel would be good, but I'm just not sure about that one in particular. A remake could work, but it probably won't be the same. Um, but Prince people love the Princess Bride, so why not continue it? It was good. It was good fun, that one for sure. And yeah. Anyway, moving on. The Iron Giant. So this was Brad Bird's first, I think, first feature length film that he directed, and also his first animated one. And while the Iron Giant is getting much more recognition these days, thanks to the titular Giant's appearance in films like Ready Player One and Space Jam: A New Legacy, the film itself is still very underappreciated, but has gained a cult following. And the film did sort of leave it open ended because, spoiler alert, in the film, the Iron Giant sacrificed himself to save the village that he landed in and met the boy and all that. And the film ended with him sort of repairing himself, implying that he might one day return. So maybe one day he will return. And it would be nice to see another traditionally animated film again on the cinemas, because it's been so long since there was the traditionally animated film in the cinema. I mean, yes, there are some that are about like the Cartoon Saloon Gang and others, but not from like major studios like Warner Brothers or Disney, because these days those companies and all that, I just think CGI is the way to go, and that's fine. CGI is fine, but some people do like traditionally animated stuff too, and CGI doesn't always work for most things, if you get what I mean. So that's that one. Adventures of Tintin: The Secret of the Unicorn. Now, this one I've been told, has always planned to be not just one film. It's planned to have multiple films, but the issue that Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson have is that they just don't know where. They don't have plans, and they keep saying they're going to do it. So when are you going to do it? The film Tintin's good and all, and had quite a big creative team behind it, including people like Edgar Wright, Stephen Moffat, Joe Cornish, so excuse me, and lots of other things. But where's the next film? I mean, yes, we've got the animated series. Yes, we got the comics that the series and the film is based on. But where's the next film? Is it gonna come out? So you may as well tell us if it's gonna come out or not, rather than just say, "Oh, it is coming out at such and such." Where is it? That's all I gotta say on that. Treasure Planet. This one is, of course, based on the book Treasure Island, and it was an attempt by Disney to once again take a book from children's literacy and do their own take on it. And in this case, they decided to make it all sci-fi, and have pirate ships be like spaceships traveling across the galaxy. And it was a continuation would be great for this one, because a continuation could all be about world building. We could see Long John Silver make a return in some way, and he and Jim Hawkins go on another adventure across the galaxy. Yeah, that could be one great thing. And the last film I'm gonna say for this video is Dread. I think I've spoken about Dread previously, but it's one of those films that did come out and people did see it, including myself. It was a film that was released only in 3D, but then in the Blu-ray, obviously did get a 2D version. And I think the reason why it just didn't do too well is because this is the second time a Judge Dredd film was made, and people have still have a grudge against Sylvester Stallone's take on the character. It'd be great for this franchise to continue, for sure. It's an amazing film. I still have fond memories of watching it, and I'd just love for it to continue. So yeah. And of course, there's tons of films that have been released that have not got that deserve more recognition than they actually have got, than they ever actually have received. Whether it's cult following or not, there's just lots that you definitely need to check out, because you could talk about the most popular films in the world, and you could be into all. Yeah, you could just be talking about the most popular films out there and bad films as well. But don't forget about the ones that just slip under the radar after release, because they deserve as much attention as those films do as well. So yeah, and I think I'm gonna end it here. Now, usually when I do a ranking list, I usually do like top 25s, but sometimes that can be a bit difficult, especially with top 25 being much bigger than top 10. So with these, even though this wasn't technically a ranking video, if I do decide to continue doing videos like this where I'm ranking stuff or listing 10 or whatever stuff, it probably won't be 25 or 10. It might be less, might be more, just see how I feel. But I'm hoping this first one goes down well, as and when it gets uploaded. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to leave a comment, particularly if you want to say what other films you think should deserve a continuation of some form, do so in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Peace. Around the world, around the world.